Hey, Michelle is here. I have a riddle for you, and you see if you can figure it out. Why would someone, say somebody from the medical field, or somebody of a scientist, let's call him a scientist instead, someone, someone in the field of science and attempted to make breakthroughs and create advancement of humans, right? Yet, on particular ones, they were chosen uh, and the whole idea for why they were chosen is to use them as, say, for example, this particular scientist wanted the so called undesirable type of people. And what this scientist would do is he would make this selection of people um, who's, but his whole intention is to um, put these, classify these people as a certain nuisance to society. Say they're a burden to society. They're unfit human beings. They're just unfit. And so the master plan with this scientist is to prove his theories and opinions, even though he know his theories and opinions are flawed and fraud on top of that. So what this scientist decides to do is um, allow those so-called unfit human beings to first, at a rapid rate, reproduce, and reproduce. But his whole master plan was to have these people classified as a certain burden to society. You know, they are a burden. So a certain facilities were created where everybody knew the whole plan. Everyone knew the master plan, and the master plan was to uh, somehow get those people in those particular type of facilities via diagnosis, whether they are being diagnosed as um, mentally unstable, mentally ill is what we call it now. They have a certain type of physical uh, inabilities. We call it being disabled. And so his whole idea and his whole master plan, along with everybody else, is to get as many of those people that are classified as such in those facilities ASAP, quickly get them all in there. Especially, like I said, with the so-called mental illness, because that means that they are low intelligence. It's what this particular science believed. But what this particular science didn't understand is that, well, let's go on. So his own, there, he and other people of his staff, they were all aware. They were being trained to to again get these people in these particular facilities. So, and they knew when they got into those facilities, nobody would, in most cases, no one would want anybody to know that their particular relatives were in these facilities, because that was a taboo to be classified as mentally ill or crazy, physically disabled, or any type of so-called menace to society. So the scientist's whole idea was to, in the beginning, allow certain type of people to reproduce, or procreate. Um, have them be, as time goes on, have them be classified as a so-called select. They would be a part of a selective uh, design of people, and the whole idea was to take these people away from their families. So how would they do that? Well, they would say that these people are mentally ill, or like I said, be classified as crazy. So this scientist would, with the help of others that were well aware of the master plan. Get those people in these facilities and do with them what you will. Okay, and these people were all races, sizes, and colors. Do to them what you will. So, in other words, um, again, like I said, families were embarrassed to admit that they had these type of people in their family. That's why they will always hide them, and you wouldn't know that these people had these people in those facilities. And sometimes you would never know that a family member is in those facilities until you start putting two to two together and remembering, didn't I have a sister? Didn't I have a brother? What happened to my sister? You you as an individual remember your siblings. You remember that a particular sibling was here when you were all were younger, but now this particular sibling is gone. So as time goes on with all of these, because this took place over almost over a century. So as time went on, you know, these people, these so-called undesirables, were housed in these facilities, and most of them died in those facilities. And what would happen is, and in most cases, no family members would come and visit them either, because they were embarrassed to have such a person in their environment. So over the course of time, um, it was decided that they had enough of these people in their facilities, and they start working up a certain type of. So, in other words, these people were labs for this particular science. These people were like lab rats, to put it mildly, where they can do whatever they want with these people, introduce certain diseases, possibly introduce certain conditions, and because they knew that they had to stop a particular type of people from spreading. What does that mean? Spreading, procreating. So, I guess during the course of understanding, that's why I say evil is patient. So, over the course of time, they realize that they can create a certain type of condition in some of the undesirables. But what they didn't understand were about carriers. What they didn't understand is about the carriers. So this is there's a there's an assumption, because this is all conspiracy theory for your movie. All right, there's this assumption that if they introduce something in a particular type of person, particular type of human beings, over the course of time, they knew that these human beings would develop a certain condition, and in hopes be eliminated. But this scientist didn't understand carriers. So he basically introduced something into those that he considered undesirable, which were mostly carriers, and it started affecting the whole population. Wow. Wow. Evil is patient, everybody. You need to understand that. And in those facilities, body harvesting was born. All right, so I'll leave it with that. You guys work with that. Try to expand the possibilities, and don't don't give anyone the benefit of the doubt. Reverse that. Instead of giving them the benefit of the doubt, do not give them the benefit of the doubt based on what you know now, and see what you come up with. All right, so I'm gonna leave you with that. I'll have more stuff later, but I think I'm done for today. So peace and love, everybody. I'll see you soon.